Hello and welcome back to episode 6 of What's Her Name Again podcast with Anya and Ep6. Thanks for joining us.
Hi everyone.
What is happening?
Nothing much, love. Feels like it's like the days are just flying in.
Oh my god, I literally
due to record again.
was thinking the same thing. I felt like I was sitting in this position recording the podcast like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, we're back to work and we're busy and it's like, oh my god, it's recording day.
I know, back to working 2 jobs. Don't know myself anymore.
I don't know how you do it, honestly.
Worked nearly 70 hours last week and went out on Sunday night and got absolutely smashed to celebrate that, and ended up completely dying, dead,
wrecking
meat
yourself
on Monday. Won't be doing that again anytime soon, that's for sure.
I was the same. My hangover dragged out like Monday and Tuesday. It was awful. But yeah, it was so nice to get out to like the bars again though.
Yeah.
Did you find everything a wee bit different?
I was very mixed emotions about it, to be honest. I was like busting to get out for a pint, and in the National it was fine because we were all at a massive table and there was loads of us and the girl was bringing drinks over, which was grand. But see, when we went to Thompson's, like Thompson's is obviously like the party club where you go to and dance, and it's that time of the night, and then we were all just had to stay in the same seat, and because there were so many of us, they had to split us over like 3 different tables, so it was just really, really weird.
Yeah. But that's kind of like the guidance at the minute as well. Like you can't really have big groups of people out and stuff. No, there was just 2 of us out, like, but it was just nice to get
I think for a date night, like, it's fine because it obviously is only the 2 of yous. But see, for like, if you're going out to have a night, proper night out with your mates, it's just not the same, and it's a waste of money if
Yeah. No, I think it's like a nice, it's not like a nice, like if it was just you and maybe 1 or 2 mates going out for like a bit of food and a bit of cocktails, but it's not like a night out yet.
No,
I don't think you can
not
get that kind of same feeling, but I think in a wee while things will be pretty back to normal, and then you can get back to Thompson's and get your shots and get your...
Unless there's a second wave, which is scaring me a wee bit.
Oh really? Have you been thinking about it?
But I've been seeing so many things and I'm like, what? Second wave? Is that actually going to happen? But do you know what? Yeah. See, at the end of the day, like the hangovers.
We survived the first one, so. I know. We'll survive a second one if it happens. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Oh God, no, don't. My anxiety's going to go through the roof now.
So, what we were deciding to talk about today in this week's podcast, we were just talking about it over the last couple of days. Things we wish we had been told when we were younger.
Yep.
This is a realisation of kind of being in your, later 20s. We're not really old.
Wait,
but
what
we're
age
not
are you?
really 27.
You're 27. I'm 26. So we're around the same age, like.
But you're definitely not old by any kind of anyway, but
age
you're
is just
not
a number.
Like super young. You're not super young either. Like you're not just coming out of uni or just coming out of school. Well,
or
not
just
me
out of the
anyway.
womb.
You're just coming out of uni. Well, you will be anyway.
Still got a year left.
But yeah, we were just talking about different things that we wish we had knew, and we wish we had been told. We wish we had been more aware of, so that we could save ourselves a load of fucking heartbreak or stress and
money worries.
So do you want to start off the topics?
Yeah, so first topic for me is quite personal for me, of one thing that I really wish that I was taught when I was growing up would be like that you don't actually have to go to university to make something of yourself or to be sort of like a good person or whatever. Like I always had it drilled into my mind. I don't know whether it was just the school I went to or the people I was surrounded with, that I had to go to university to get a good job and to earn a lot of money, when in reality I dropped out of university within 6 months and I was able to make a good living for myself for the next 5 years before I sort of like decided to go again. But it was just one of them things, like it would have saved me so much hassle, stress, money if I had have known this like when I was younger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish I had been told that not that you have to go to uni, but you know, you can wait. Like, you don't have to go to uni right now. You can wait until you're more aware of what it is that you really like. You know, I think I done like 80 meeny miny mo between my results between, because my A levels were music, dance, drama, English.
Yeah.
So it was between literally English, music, and a dance course. And I just decided last minute, because I was like, I don't really know what I want to do, but apparently, you know, you have to go, so I had to decide. Whereas, you know, if someone had said to me, take a year out, you know, work, you know, travel a wee bit, and then decide based on what your actual interests are, I think it would be very different.
Yeah.
Because I think you waste your first couple of years trying to figure out what you want to do anyway.
Absolutely.
You know, so
like,
you don't take the course seriously.
I know. And I think for me personally as well, like, I chose to do law based on an unrealistic work experience. So my work experience, I went to a solicitor's, and the solicitor's was like one that did like murder cases and high profile cases, which isn't realistic for what you want to do going into law. And I was brought into all these like sort of murder trials and rape trials for the week that I was there.
Oh Jesus.
I know, it was intense, and that's what made me like fall in love with it. But I don't think people who do that realise how small criminal law is in a law course. And there's me going in and getting handed, I mean, books upon books of stuff that I had absolutely zero interest in learning or wanting to be a part of. And I can remember just breaking down, being like, this is not what I want to do. Like, this doesn't meet up to my sort of expectations of what a lawyer was, because I would base it on sort of TV. As silly as that sounds.
Yeah. Or you're not really told, you know, there's certain courses that it's not really explained what the actual job roles that you can go for are. And there's a lot of job roles that you don't need a particular degree for, but you just need to have that kind of knowledge that you would get from doing a degree. Well, this is what I find. My job is completely unrelated to what I done in uni, but I find that what I learned between the degree and my master's was just skills on how to present my opinion and present things in general, and just like have the confidence to like put forth ideas and, you know, speak up for myself, and which is, you know, that has all really helped me. You know, the things that you do, like presentations and stuff at the time, like, oh my god, like when I was doing presentations in uni, I could have like literally got a sick note to not go into it because I was so petrified of speaking in front of people. But see, now it's just given me so much more confidence whenever I'm dealing with like different people from work, you know. So
yeah, but do you not think like you should be being taught that in school, never mind university? Because I know for a fact how many people who are in my life right now who have spent 3 or 4 years doing a degree and don't end up in a job anything similar to it. And it's just the skills you need. It's not the actual knowledge of what you're doing. And
that particular topic.
Yeah, there could be a whole different way of going about that, instead of you having to spend thousands and thousands of pounds a year to learn something that you're never going to use.
Yeah. I think that in school, what you're taught about uni, what you're taught about jobs is just so generalised. Like, I don't think that anyone ever sat down with me and said, okay, these are the topics that you're doing, this is what you're good at, this is where would you potentially, like, I never had that conversation with anyone in careers, whatever topic that was. Like, we actually had a class called careers, didn't we? Like, it was never, like, for me, it was never discussed in a realistic way, you know, what I could potentially do from that.
I'm sitting going to myself, how can people who run a school expect 17 and 18-year-olds to know what they want to do for the rest of their lives, like straight off the bat? Yeah, you have it like a year to process and you pick your subjects, but sometimes you don't like those subjects and you change your mind, and that's all like a process of learning and growing up sort of thing. But
do you think that maybe the fact that when you're 17, 18, you're sitting your A levels, you them placing more of an expectation about you going to uni is probably going to help with their overall stats. So if they start telling people you don't have to go to uni, you're going to see probably grades not be as high. So it might have to do with that, you know, the pressure of kind of uni as a definite thing is probably a lot to do with their expectations for courses.
Yeah, obviously they have to do that, but like I would have liked to even know from other people around me, not just obviously in school, but like from friends and family around me, that uni wouldn't have to be my only option, that I could like take a year out and go and travel or go and do other things, whereas I made the mistake of going and dropping out without knowing sort of where I wanted to go or do with my life, and wasting so much money. Like,
see, no one in my family actually went to uni, so it was this kind of expectation that, oh, we didn't go, so you have to go, you know. And here, I don't regret going at all. I feel like there, you know, the advice that I would have liked to have got was probably like, you don't need to know right now, you can go in a couple of years. There's so many like mature students in courses, and you know, you can take your time in deciding what you want to do. Yeah,
well, it took me 5 years, I think, to actually find a course that I wanted to do. So I started doing law at the start, dropped out of law, and then I applied for what was it, like sociology or social policy or something, and got accepted into that course, and didn't end up going to it. And then took 5 years out to like travel and work, and then it was only then that I realised sort of what I wanted to do. But like, I think you need to be given sort of even like a month or two between like choosing. I don't know how to explain myself. You know the way like you choose when you're in school. I think you should be
Or do you think maybe the semester should start in like January after you finished your A-levels? Maybe to give you a couple of months of, you know, sitting and thinking. Yeah, definitely. But I do envy you in a way that, you know, you're at the, you know, you kind of know really what you want to do, and you're more secure in your choice and what you're doing in uni. And I would love to go back and redo my course with the kind of, I don't want to say knowledge, but you know what I mean, with the kind of better, with a more mature mindset. I would love to learn the stuff properly rather than look at it and go, oh, what the fuck is this shit? Do you know what I mean?
I know, because I compare sort of my first, obviously, semester or two at my first degree compared to my first semester of my second one, and the difference is unbelievable. As to, obviously when you're 18 you're just partying, and I lived in the Holy Lands, and it wasn't about going to uni and learning for me, it was about the party. Whereas now, like, it's about getting a proper education, and I'm so much more focused on actually learning and getting the grades that I want. Like, my grades when I was in first semester law were 40s and 50s, and my grades when I was in first semester of business and IT were 70s and 80s, and it kind of just shows you like the jump from being secure and actually wanting to learn rather than sort of forced to learn,
being there because by default.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, 100%. And I think this kind of brings us on well to like the next topic that we're thinking of. The next advice that we would give ourselves is definitely that you should definitely not put an age limit on things that you want to do. And you know, you shouldn't be like, for me, I think my overall kind of, you know, trajectory was like 26, married, 28 kids, and like
I know it
I'm
literally
27
does not, but things never work out the way you plan for it either. Like, definitely not. Like, I always said by 30 I'd have all of that, and 30 was the age, and that's not
why
happening.
Is 30 the cutoff point? Why?
I don't know. I think it's drilled into your mind from when you're younger.
For me, I've really felt it. Like, as soon as I turned 25, I was like, okay, I need to get all the fun things out of the way before I'm 30, because like after you're 30 you couldn't possibly do any of that.
Mate,
and like that's not really true. Like, but that's how I feel still. I still feel that kind of pressure.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I kind of got over it last year. Like, I thought about it a lot the year before, and then last year I was kind of like, you know what? I have the whole of my life ahead of me to do things. Yeah, like for a woman, our biological time clock like ticks out. But do you know, at the end of the day, things are going to happen the way they happen, and
Yeah.
that's just a thing you have to entrust in, whatever you believe in. Like, if it's the universe, if it's God, if it's nothing. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you just need to bleh.
I think that it's more suitable for women as well. A lot more women would feel the pressure because of that biological thing. And there is some reason to it. You know, obviously your chances and, you know, all that dire details which everybody, like every woman knows about, goes down like between 30s and 40s. But like I remember my mum went to the doctors like maybe last year or so, and I think they were talking about something like that there, and the doctor says, you know, my mum was like 46 at the time, and mummy was, and she'd said, you know, you're pretty healthy, you know, you wouldn't have an issue with having another baby if you wanted to. But and my mum was like, what? I thought that was like, I thought that was like a myth, like you can't have kids after 40. And she was like, no, absolutely not. Especially you can't, you know, every body is the same. So if you've taken care of your body, and if you're quite, you know, you're not, you know, unhealthy, and you're quite fit, you know, there's absolutely no reason, you know, obviously your chances are lower of conceiving and stuff like that there, but on general terms you can still have a baby, you know. So for her to get that advice last year, I was like, oh Jesus, okay, so maybe like, because I always thought, you know, you have to have babies pre-30, you know, and it's like this ridiculous kind of like rush and expectation, whereas it's like, it's just not, it's not feasible for everybody. It's like not. Everyone's not going to be on that same road, like.
No, and you know what? Like, see when I was what, 21, I think, when I was in a relationship, I was going to be married and have a baby, like as soon as I could. Like that's the vision I had for myself. But see, now that I'm completely by myself and I've been single for years now, I can't actually picture it anymore.
Oh my god, Anya, I don't know what it is. I literally feel the same. I feel like the older that I've got, the less broody and the less wanting to have a family. I think if you had asked me when I was like 21, 22, I would have been like, yes, babies, still gonna have one by the time I'm 26, can't wait to have a family. And now I'm like, I am so selfish. I want to do all this here for myself. Like I don't want to have kids. Like I couldn't see it far enough at the minute.
No, I know, same. I'm like, get me a puppy.
Yeah, I'll have 15 golden retrievers before I have a kid. Imagine
so
me this time next year having like a kid or something.
I know, stop. Nice. Hi, Auntie Anya. So I was like talking to my daddy in the kitchen earlier about because I'm thinking about giving up my car so that I can sort of save money to go away next year. Like towards the end of next year, I like want to go to Australia for the year. And he turned around to me in the kitchen and was like, you want to go away? He was like, you know, you're no spring chicken anymore.
Oh my god.
I know. I was fuming.
Bad dad award.
I was
tell
like,
him to listen to this podcast.
Age is just a number.
Yeah, tell him to listen to this podcast whenever he's finished.
I know.
So yeah, I suppose it's like not setting an age limit to the things that you want to do, and understanding that different people around you are going to go at different paces. They're going to want different things, and you shouldn't be worried about not having kids or not having the ultimate profession or the degree by such and such an age. Go at your own pace and just enjoy it.
Like at the end of the day, like there's, out of my friendship group, most of them are on their way to being married and having kids and getting mortgages and all that. And there's probably one or two of us in the friendship group that aren't. And also with another friend outside of that, we're completely both in the same boat, like still living at home, like still single, no intentions of anything. And it's so nice to have sort of both sides of it, so you don't feel that way.
Yeah, you don't feel under pressure.
Yeah. And I think like for anyone that's listening to this, if you do feel under pressure to be doing something by a certain age, know from people like myself who have went through that pressure that you don't need to have that burden on your life, because everything's going to happen at the pace it's supposed to happen at.
True thing.
You know what I mean?
Yes, we're like the wisest of the wise.
I am not wise at all.
So, have you got another kind of wish I had a known?
I do.
Kinda...
I think one massive aspect for me growing up, which I wish a lot of people had known, is we're in school when we were younger, we are not taught to take care of our heads, like our mental state, our mindfulness at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't pinpoint a time throughout my younger years that I was ever taught about sort of mental health or anything. And I think for our generation growing up, it's a massive thing. And for the sort of things that I went through when I was younger and had to deal with by myself in my own head, to have some sort of knowledge of how to deal with that would have been so helpful for like traumas that I went through. So I think sort of really educating yourself on how to take care of your mind, journaling, breathing exercises, sort of finding what settles you and what makes you happiest in your head is something that you can take so much from.
Yeah. I think the big thing is when you're younger, you're very susceptible to other people's opinions, especially if they're older than you.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
you take older people's word as absolute gospel, whether that's your parents, whether that's, you know, family or friends, and that's not always the case. I think as you get older, you become more sympathetic to people that were, in quotes, older than you.
Yeah.
To think they don't have all the answers. Do you know what I mean? And they're not always equipped to give you the right advice, you know. So I would have loved this was a bit of advice given to me when I was younger, that you don't always they actually said, like, it was some sort of argument or something was going on, and it was actually my godparents had said to me, you know, you don't always, there's a little switch in your head, and sometimes you just have to switch it off and not listen. Like, you don't have to take in every bit of information that's around you. But, you know, it's very hard whenever you're younger to kind of decipher that, you know. It would be nice to, it would be definitely nice to be guided on, you know, boundaries and setting your own boundaries, making sure that you can say no to things, not feeling under pressure to look a certain way or be a certain way, and just, you know...
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do as well with how you actually speak to yourself inside your head. Like, if you're, so like, take for example, like a lot to do with a few years ago when I was like calling myself fat and saying I'm ugly, and do you know, like, just negative words like that sort of turn yourself into not liking yourself, which doesn't allow you to be inside your head or like being inside your head when that's the place you are most. So you need to make it a nice place to be. So speak to yourself nicely and sort of show gratitude and stuff like that. Yeah,
definitely. But I think that's a kind of wider topic of kind of well-being that definitely. I think could be more... could be a bigger topic in schools. I've seen a couple of schools are doing like mindfulness educating, which I think is just so important, because it's not always just as cliche as sitting and breathing, you know, because sometimes you're just like, you know, if people aren't into mindfulness and they're not into meditation, they'll probably think that's just like stupid and pointless. But just being mindful is a lot to do with the type of thoughts that you're allowing yourself to obsess over, the type of, you know, thought habits that you have, and just being mindful of that, you know, information overload and getting yourself overwhelmed and stuff. I think it would just be so greatly, you know, beneficial.
Agreed.
For younger ones, well, for me anyway.
Anything else? Did you have to shed light on?
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually advice, but it's just something that I've noticed. Like, it's just, I feel like, you know, with the type of people that I probably would have been friends with younger, Like I see the likes of you have like a big friend group, and it's all girls that you've knew from maybe school or whatever, but I've never really had that. I've had like one or two, three very close friends from completely different backgrounds that I've met through different jobs or, you know, school or uni or whatever. So it's just that for me it was like that, what am I doing wrong? Why do I not have a big girl group? Why do I not go on girls' holidays? And, you know, that kind of pressure that, you know, you have to fit into that kind of norm. And I think that, you know, it's okay to again go your own way and have, you know, different types of relationships, and it doesn't always have to look exactly like everybody else's, you know.
Absolutely.
So stop comparing your life to others or what they're doing or how they're getting along, because the friendships that I do have, the 3 or 4 very close people, they're like super solid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously that's happened for a reason, you know. And then, you know, there's sometimes whenever I am with a big group of people and I just get lost, like my voice just gets lost. I just don't know how to, it's just something that I've just never been involved in. So it's just being okay with that, you know, and not thinking that there's something wrong with you, you know, and you should be doing things a certain way.
But like with the thing with big friendship groups, like we're all like in a big friendship group, but we don't even see each other that much. Do you know what I mean? Like people who are best friends with people would see each other probably a lot more than we would see each other. And like everyone has their own sort of people as well. Like every single person in that group has their own outside friends outside of that group too. Sort of thing. So it's just one of them things. But I enjoy being in a big friendship group, but I also enjoy having like really small close friends as well.
Yeah, I don't know why that came to mind. It's just something that I've always kind of thought about, because I've been the complete opposite, and I do envy people that have big friend groups and stuff. I think it's like almost like you couldn't run out of, like, if you wanted to do something, like I have like 3 people, and like whereas other people might have a lot more people to text. So
they have a lot more
to get.
They have a lot more people, but they all be at the head of each other.
So let me just think of another wee one here. Let me see. Yeah, this one I wish I had a new is people, not in a bad way, but people don't actually think or overly care that much about what you're doing for it to affect you. So I think it's like this thing that you're too scared to do something, you're too scundered to do something, you don't want, you know, you're afraid of other people kind of judging. But a big thing that I've realized over the last couple of years is people don't think about you as much as you think they do for it to put you off something. Like, you know, just, you know, it's, you know, people are not selfish, but they're kind of thinking about their own problems. They're thinking about their own journeys. They're not sitting at home thinking about, oh my god, I can't believe Alpita and Anya decided to do a podcast. Like, what, you know, that's just not a conversation that the people that you think are gonna have. Like, they don't care. Like, you do what it is that you want to do, and, you know, don't worry about other people's opinions.
Yeah, I totally like that one. Because I remember being stuck in my head so much about sort of what people were thinking about me, and then I realised someone says to me something one day being like, Anya, you're thinking too much about this, that these people are pure talking about you behind your back, but they actually don't give 2 fucks what you're doing.
Yeah, no, they really don't.
You know, it's so true, because see, when it comes to it and you think about it the other way around, you don't care what people do either. So
yeah, like, I'm not going to sit at home and think about fucking the whatever person that's opened this business and is doing this and is doing that. Like, I'm thinking about myself.
Although I am top overthinker, so I guarantee I've probably thought about every single person I know on what they're doing.
No. So I think that did we miss anything out that we wanted to say there, just from
don't think so, not massively. The only thing was about sort of making mistakes along the way of your journey, which I think is a good thing to factor in as well. Obviously, people don't think that when they're younger they're going to make mistakes, but they happen. Like, they happen without you even realising sometimes that they're happening, and it will cause distress to you. But you need to remember that making mistakes is a part of living as a human being. Like, that's how we're built, is to sort of do stuff like that. And you need to learn to forgive yourself for if you do make a mistake. Like, that's the number one factor, and sort of let that shit go.
Yeah. Quoting our last podcast.
I know.
If you haven't
Actually
listened,
did,
let
didn't
that
I?
stress go.
Let that stress
Yeah.
go, girl.
Yeah, and probably along with that, I would say it's okay to start something from scratch, and you're never too old to kind of start from scratch and redo something if you have made a mistake. So just bloody go for it.
Right. And we says we're going to start doing quote of the week.
Oh, I forgot to look up quotes. Did you get one?
No, but I just googled it there now. Right, let's see. I don't know whether
we should have been more prepared.
Should I go for a real cheesy one, or should I go for like?
No, go for like a more relatable, maybe to this podcast episode.
What it will talk about?
Things I wish I had known.
Right.
Okay, so I have found one from Beyonce.
Was it Beyonce?
Beyonce always has the wisdom. So it says, if everything was perfect, you would never learn and you would never grow. So in hindsight, we're pretty grateful that we didn't know all these things, because we learned them all later in life.
Still more learning to do, still more growing to do.
Yeah, and we'll make a podcast about it.
Well, thank you so much for joining in this week.
See you all next week, and give us a subscribe, a comment, a like, a share, or whatever you want if you have listened to this and you have enjoyed it.
Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.